Okay, so this is Treehouse Meeting 11. Thanks everyone for coming. So yeah, this will be the last one for the year. I'm sure everyone's pretty busy at this pointy end of the year and trying to finish up everything. It's always hectic. Just going to share my screen quickly. So just on the onboarding kit quickly again, I won't harp on about this too much again, but just wanted to thank all these guys here who have offered up their time to speak to new partners. So I was really happy with the interest we got there from you guys to offer up your time to do that. So I wasn't expecting that sort of response. So it's really cool. And most of you guys, or half you guys here are probably in the room, so thank you. Has anyone, because I know Alex has sent this out by their email blast, just sort of promoting this page. Has anyone had any contacts regarding onboarding meetings?
Yes, I had a meeting yesterday.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I got an email from a BC partner who asked whether we could go through it. So we spent about just over an hour on Zoom going through everything, and she was pretty keen, so it was good.
Excellent.
I was literally just texting with a guy on LinkedIn as the meeting got started, so I invited him to join this to watch, and we're going to get together tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that's cool. Yes, I think it's really going to be a positive step for a lot of people coming on board, so that's awesome. I'll just go back to that site again. So most of you guys probably know I've started a mailing list for Treehouse. But anyone else watching the recording or who isn't actually a member in Treehouse, you can just sign up to the mailing list now as well without actually becoming a member. So if you just want notifications on the meetings or any other important events that might happen. So yeah, just letting everyone know you can just sign up to the mailing list now. So yeah, I've just recently posted the release notes review as well. I don't know if anyone's had time to look at that yet, but it's really just about the secure zone subscriptions. So I was just wondering if anyone's played with that or is working on a project with paid subscriptions.
Yeah, actually, when I was trying to move over to this, I asked them about that, and they let me stay quiet about it, but they were working on getting it done early for us to meet a project need that I had. I was moving from SiteGlide, who already had it, but I really wanted to move over here, as y'all heard my video. And so they got that done, and so far it looks good. There's a couple of small things you helped me with on the form, coming out for the invoice. And then I'd like to see a little more control over the length of repetitiveness instead of just, month and year and all that. I'd like to be able to put days if possible, but, a few things like that I'd like to see them do later, but the functionality needed, they got in, and so far it works great.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I saw, I think the days and weeks recurring is coming because it's there in the menu, but it's grayed out. So I assume that's going to come pretty soon. Yeah, it's not I think I only had one client on BC that had sort of a membership-based thing, I think from memory. So, but yeah, it looks good.
Well, also, like, if as partners, we're using Treepool to run our own stuff, and we're, going to sell hosting to our clients. How else would you do it if we don't have it, right? I'm open to ideas. I'm looking at doing the same thing instead of just doing it off the Stripe. I'd like to have it to where they can log in my site and see their histories and, pull up all that stuff through an account page and stuff. So I'd like to be able to sell those subscriptions through my own partner site. So having that, I think, is essential. That's how I did it in BC anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely come in handy there. At the moment, I'm sort of doing that manually for eWay. So I take the initial payment through the website using the payment gateway, but then everything's just manually because I find I'm always tweaking something or adjusting a date or might give them a discount, things like that. So it's hard. It was hard to do that in BC, and it looks like it would still be difficult to do that with the current implementation. So there's probably always going to be those sorts of customizations you're going to want to make. But yeah, looking good. And do you use Stripe normally, or have you just moved to Stripe because that's what's available?
I moved Stripe a while back. Just some issues I was having with PayPal at the time and the way they report. I mean, it's over here in the U.S. A certain amount of income that gets reported. I'm a freelance, so I don't, so part-time, so I'm a full gig. And after a certain amount, they were reporting stuff in there, and I was having to track different hosting. I'm just using it for the hosting part and the recurring payment. I still do just regular form payments for the things like you're talking about, and charging them for jobs or making changes. But the hosting part, I want it to be recurring. And I usually try to set them up and then give it a day or two so that I've got a little window between when I get paid versus I get charged with Treehouse, with Treepool. But yeah, I moved Stripe about a year ago because of some other stuff. And luckily, that's the one they've got in place. I know for you guys, y'all use different gateways.
Yeah, I like Stripe. I think it's good. It's very, very powerful, very flexible. I mainly went with eWay because it works in better with Xero and my accounting. So, but it would be really cool to see more of the API opened up in Treepool and Stripe, because I know you can do a lot of cool things with Stripes, especially the recurring type stuff. So hopefully that opens up in the future. Yeah. What's everyone else doing with that sort of like ongoing payments for your clients or using Stripe?
We've set it up in PayPal. So the way I've got it working in PayPal is you can set up a subscription-based charge. So which we're charging in US currency, seeing as how we're being charged in US currency. So essentially, the client goes in at point of go live. They purchase the appropriate subscription, puts in their card details, that gets saved, and it recurs. So they're being charged, on a recurring basis, and that's like a day before the triple payment goes out. So it works out quite well. It's a bit of a nightmare from an accounting point of view, because when somebody pays in another currency, in this case US dollars, we know the US amount they've been charged, but we don't know to the cent the local currency amount that's been converted to. So that I'm still trying to work around, but other than that, it works pretty well.
Yeah, I used to use PayPal a while ago, but yeah, same thing with accounting, and just the interface of PayPal used to just be the interface is not good. Yeah, and I found if like a payment failed, like a credit card payment, it was really hard to rectify that and chase it up and things like that. So, although what I did like about PayPal is that you could actually set up a form, like you could dig into the HTML code of the form and set up all different types of recurring methods and amounts and things like that, without having to use any APIs or anything like that. So
that's quite good.
Yeah. Ryan's just posted users ran into some issues with Stripe. They don't allow for CBD product sales. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Ryan.
Yeah, he means like cannabis and THC-based products. Yeah, they have a limitation with Shopify because Shopify Payments is through Stripe, so you can't you can't sell marijuana products through there.
Has anyone else developed like payment sites, not necessarily for secure zone subscriptions, but just like form payments or event payments?
Yeah, I've done a couple, Adam. So far it's been okay.
Okay.
We actually have, I'll just share real quick here. Let me just change it's not pretty, and it's definitely going to change when e-commerce comes, because then but I've literally had to create a web form for each of these products. It's a virtual grocery store.
Okay.
I think I've shown you guys this already, but so basically when e-commerce comes out, these will eventually become products, but right now I literally had to create a web form for each of them. And it does seem to be working fine, right? I mean, they can buy and away they go. And it is working on the back end. They're getting their money, and So from a client's point of view, it's working, but it's pretty rugged way of doing it. That's for sure. So.
Yeah. Are you sharing your screen, Aaron? Because I can only see mine. Maybe I have to approve you or something.
I just stopped sharing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I see what's going on. I've just lost my Zoom window. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I wasn't sharing the whole time. I was just talking.
I'm not sure. I lost my Zoom window and too many tabs open again. Yeah, so I think I always push all my clients to eWay, so I'm kind of waiting for eWay before I do anything or moving on to Stripe or change to Stripe. But we'll see. All right. Well, Aaron, you wanted to do a demo on something. Are you still keen for that?
Yeah, for sure. I won't take a lot of time, but I figured I don't know. I found something cool. I'm sure this is going to become archaic in the future when they actually get a comments feed going that's attached to modules. Yeah. But I needed one right away, so I just developed one. So it may help you guys. It may not. I'm going to run through it fast. If you guys want like the actual code and stuff, just DM me after the meeting. So I will run through this really quickly with you guys. But I do have one question that I need some help with. So maybe you guys can help me with something here.
Sure.
So I'm just going to share my screen. Just give me a thumbs up if you see my screen. Okay, good. So we have a client here that has a lot of blog articles, and it was causing some long load times. As you can see, we're outputting, I think, 9 on this page, and it's 9 times 75 or more. Of course, the pagination doesn't look pretty, and I'm just using the display pagination, right? So do you guys know of any method of condensing this into, like, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then ... Do you know what I mean? Because I actually can't target this because it's part of the module tag. I mean, I'm sure I could do something with JavaScript to make it happen, but so if you went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ... and then next, it would go the next group of 5 kind of thing, right? Well, I'm sure you guys all know about the pagination, right? It's preset in there by Treehouse by the module tag. So if anybody knows any solutions for this, that would be brilliant. And maybe just DM me after this. But
yeah, I've got something in the works for that. So
okay, all right, cool. I mean, the problem if I were to output this as a liquid collection variable, the pagination doesn't work so well. In fact, sometimes it doesn't even show up. So unless they fix that, it wasn't working for me before. So
okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go through this website. It's in trial mode right now. We're carrying over some information from their old site. They had some previous comments. They wanted the ability to filter comments as well and approve of comments. So it's not just random spam that's going in there, which we noticed on their old site. So of course we didn't carry over the spammy ones. So I needed a mechanism to create a comment feed within an article. So we'll go into this one right here. So this is the detail page of the article. Whoa, what's happening? So we carried over some of the comments, and then the ability for them to create an account and then log in. So once they've logged in, they have the ability to actually add something in here. So let me just go in here and show you the mechanism. Sorry, I can't speed up the load time. And I still fix it so that I actually load back on the page. Anyway, so we have the ability to submit a comment for this article. So I submit it, it goes into the back end, and then the client can approve it. And once they approve it, it's good to go live. So if I go test, we create the blog article. I don't know if you noticed, I did add an anchor tag on that little bubble on the list view. So it takes me right down to here as well, so which is nice. I'm not making excuses for the load time. So, okay, so the way I achieve this, of course, is I've created a blog. It's a custom module blog. I'm not using the inner blog infrastructure. I just find I don't have as much freedom for different custom properties. So, and especially depending on the plan that they have, I can't actually go in and alter the settings of the internal blog. So that's why I'm kind of using a custom module blog. So basically, I have a custom module blog. I pulled it out of custom modules, and then I have a comments. So what I've done is I created a generic comments custom module. Oh man, come on. Are we recording this? All right, there we go. Okay, so you see the test that one I've just submitted. It's in there. The client can go, okay, this is a valid one. I can go in and approve it. Of course, I've moved things around here as well. So the way this comment custom module is working is I have, it's basically linking as a data source to the particular blog module, to the blog article, I mean. So basically the customer will, of course, create a blog first. So it'll be in there. Once it's in there, it's part of the data source here. So anytime they make a new blog, it'll show up in this list. These are the two fields that I've inputted, et cetera, et cetera. It's disabled from site search, of course, is enabled. And then the customer can just go in and check it, and it's good, it's live, right? So from the blog itself, there's really not much to it other than just being a blog article, but it's what happens in the background is what I wanted to show you here as well. Don't make it easy to show these in. Come on. So yeah, really not much in here. Like there's no real attachment to that article or that comment. So from the background, we'll go into settings here. This is a trial site, by the way, with 8 items in it, 9 items. Okay, layouts. So I think I'm just using 2 layouts. Yeah, okay, so I have the list view. And basically what I'm doing is I'm going to increase the size here so you guys can see. All right, so basically what I've done is that I've outputted component source comments. I'm not using a layout, so I'm actually using a loop here. Filter by blog article sync. So that's the actual data source field. And then with the blog article sync, I can actually filter by this ID. So it's based on the actual blog ID. I need to loop through a whole bunch of comments because hopefully there's not 100 comments, but if there is, and then you just create a collection variable. So from here, you can actually create a few counter indexes because it's not very good for looping through the number of items within that sort of within this comments. Sorry, the article sync. So I actually had to create a counter index loop. So basically what it does is take 0 plus 1 and then it creates an index loop. And I'm not going to go into the fine details. I will show you offline if you guys want to know how this actually works. But once it's in there, so basically I can actually assign the comments feed to it and I can actually start to add. So in the list view, I have, where's the counter? So I have this area here. So if the counter index is 0, don't show the bubble. So don't show the, or so don't, do show the bubble, but make it a different color, but don't show any like quantities or anything like that. Where is it here? So it's just a basic bubble. It's really nothing. It still allows you to click through to the comments feed. But if there is, make the bubble blue and put a quantity in there. So if counter index equals 0, leave it at nothing, and then counter index, then it actually puts the counter number in here. So basically within this bubble is the actual counter amount. So, and then from the layout and detail view, it's basically following the same principles, but instead of just doing it through the bubble, I'm now actually putting the stuff in here as well. So, I mean, the great thing about this is, if they're logged in, I have variables here. So if logged equals false, then it'll output the, create account form, all that kind of stuff. Else, basically what'll happen, it'll output. So if they're already logged in, it'll output the website comments, create item form, which is from the comments option. And then yeah. So hopefully a little bit of this makes some sense here as well. It's kind of how it worked for me. I actually had Vlad. He noticed a small little issue with not being able to output based on the data source by the name. You couldn't create a loop based on the name, so they're going to go fix that little loop. But anyways, it ended up working out really well. I do have the code for it if you guys want to borrow it. And like I said, this is going to be one of those things, like, as I know they have comments planned for the system in the future. So this will become archaic, but for now, if you guys need any of the code, I'll be happy to share it with you as well. It does work. And if you need further explanation, just let me know and I can help you offline. It's all yours, Adam.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks, Adam. So I don't think you mentioned this, but what made you decide to use a built-in comments like that, as opposed to something like Discuss or Facebook comments?
To be honest, the client's a little bit older, and for her to learn another system is not going to work for her. So that's kind of why. So we just wanted to keep everything sort of inbuilt for this.
Yeah,
that would have been my preference, to use Discuss, and then it would have been a lot less work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I really like how you can just link things together like that, and yeah, works well. You had that counter thing in there. Was that just purely to get the number of comments for that post? There is a liquid field for that, isn't there? Or was it because you're collecting more comments than what you wanted to display?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. It's hard to, let me just see if I can show you what it does. Counter. So I'm just going to throw it on the bottom of the screen here. Oh, I should probably share my screen. So if I just lay out the word comment or counter index, because I've already created a sign for it. Let's see here, save. Just waiting for it to save. Should show up on the bottom. Yeah, it's really slow. Yeah, so it's right, you can see the two on the very, very bottom there. So it's telling me that there's two articles. It's basically, oh shit. Sorry, my internet's dying here. I don't know what's happening. Yeah. Sorry, I'll take this off because I know the client's looking at this right now, and my internet's getting a little bit dodgy.
Yeah. No worries. Cool. Is anyone else linking things together like that, like custom like front end submitted items? I work with that a lot with the Treehouse site. It can get quite hairy if you're doing a lot of things there. So it's just, has anyone else explored that avenue of custom submitted module items?
I've explored it a little bit. I haven't actually built that yet, but we've got 4, perhaps 5 sites that require it, where we've got an example. One of them is a business association. They have a bunch of members who manage their own profiles. So that's a public listing about their business, integrated with maps and information that they update, images and so on, which has been great on BC. But I'm approaching it with some trepidation. So if anyone's done that, I'd be very keen to know some more. But it is going to be vital to have that user submitted web app, component items. So yeah, about to venture into that very shortly.
Yeah. Well, I think the Treeple implementation for me was a lot better than how BC was, particularly because you can, with the edit forms and the submission forms, you don't have to include all the fields of the custom module. So that was a big help, actually. So.
Adam, one other one that I've been using, sorry to steal the show here, is, and it's using, a lot of the clients are actually using it quite a bit, has been this site. So this is representing a whole bunch of businesses in my city. And so the actual businesses can actually log in and make edits to their own member profile and also make payments. And it's just a general, of course I can't log in. How about that, right? It's happening to me now. It's not my day for logging in. Try this one more time. Yeah. All right. It's not working for me today. But anyways, they can actually go in and make edits to their own portal, basically, which is nice. And I know people have been using it because I get the workflow notifications that things are being updated. I like having that because just in case, like, okay, let's see what they did. Did they screw anything up?
Yeah.
But so far, so good. Other than logging in. Yeah.
It's always good when you build something like that and you see people actually using it. So many times I've built things that then just don't get used. Yeah, they paid for it. So.
We are also working a lot with customer submitted items actually on BC and developing just one site in Treeple. It's a facility management module, which means it's for a real estate company. It's a company which owns real estate, so they have maintenance to do. And the plan is that all the janitors and employees can basically access the site, log into the site on the front end, and then submit facility management items, which gets updated when there's progress. Like when there's something broken, they hired someone, the person came and fixed it and stuff like this. So that's supposed to be done all on the front end. And I have to agree, Adam, the implementation in Treeple is much better than in BC. I like it very much. Like, for instance, we are using a lot of data fields in the module, like a list of the real estate objects, for instance. And I remember in BC, when you would do an edit or create form on the page, these data source fields were all like when you just put it by the BC module, they were all like rendered in hard code. So if you add a real estate facility or something else, you had to go back to the page and hard code this, or do a module call by yourself in this. And the Treeple team did a good job. They just did that in the form. So when you generate the form in the Treeple admin for editing or for creating, they already do the module call for the data source field there. So you don't have to do this anymore. I did this a lot in BC. And every time you have like changes in the code, you have to do it again and again. So this is really great.
Yeah, it's a really cool feature to work with. I had a project a while back which actually fell through, but it was like where it's kind of like a crowdsourcing way of rating playgrounds and parks. So all the members could sort of just be on their mobile phone and submit their rating on a park that they might be taking their kids to or something, and fill out all information about it, like what the parking was like and what activities it had there, and it even like synced up to the GPS to pin the location on a map and that sort of thing, and just would then submit that to the web app. I would have really liked to have built that out further on Treeple, but it fell through, unfortunately. But yeah, it's just really cool how you can do all those pretty cool things that the user has control over. So.
It really works also well in our case with custom columns, because you can actually, in BC, it wouldn't be that useful because you would always only see the name of the item, and then you see the date and template stuff you don't need actually as an admin in this case. So now I can make my own columns, which says like the status of the item, the person who handed it in, the object, and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's basically, we couldn't have done this in BC this way.
Yeah.
I have a small thing I can share if you want to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like a very basic thing, but it actually works out quite well, I think. So everybody see my screen? Perfect. So this is the office space where we live, where we have our office. I just logged in just to be sure that I could log in. So this just says company, the guest on the company, and the date for the meeting. So what you're gonna see is the data is gonna show up when you go to our office and have a meeting. You'll just when you go to the office, there will be a screen, and it will show this. The reason why it's turned this way is that it actually shows on TV that is on the horizontal view, it must be. So it just displays when there's no meetings. It's going to display all of the companies that are in the building. And so if you do a meeting, you select your company, date of the meeting. I can't do that. It's too late for me to set up a meeting, actually. So it won't show up. But when you add the meeting, it's going to show up here. So it's going to do this screen for 15 seconds, and it's going to go to show which meetings are in the next couple of hours. And if there's no meetings, it's just going to show this screen all day to show the different companies at the office space. So that's like also very basic stuff, but actually, works quite well. So that's not that hard, the case, but it works quite good, yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool, Peter. Anyone else working on cool projects or have solved something just recently with Treehouse or struggling with something?
Struggling is probably a good word. On multiple things. All of them urgent, all of them for, everyone wants them yesterday for nothing, of course, Christmas coming up. So I ran into a challenge that I'm not sure if this has come up before. I mentioned it in the forum, I think yesterday or the day before, with blogs, with the date ordering and the admin. And I don't know if anyone else has seen that, but let me share my screen. I can show you. Where are we here? Where's the screen? There we go. Okay, so here's this particular site has it's about 12 different blogs of various senior staff. But here's one here. You can see we've got everything in date order as you'd expect it to be. And if we look at the release date and try and use that column, have a look at the dates. They're all over the place. And similarly, if I reverse that, you can see that these just don't correlate at all with what's actually going on. So yeah, I don't know what ordering it's pulling in there, but it's certainly not date order.
It looks like it's ignoring the year.
It's ignoring something, yeah. Potentially. But anyway, I raised that in the forum. Hopefully Brad or someone will pick that up, but no one's come across this?
No, I haven't seen it. It hasn't affected my builds, but it looks like it's sorting by the actual string there. So you're getting the date, the month, and the number.
True.
It's not using the actual date value, it's using the string there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure they'll fix that up.
Right, should I maybe if I raise a case on it, probably makes sense. Get some attention to that, but yeah, I'll go ahead and do that.
yeah, I'm not sure there's any other way around it.
Okay.
It's really an admin thing. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, if anyone had anything else to add, any questions or anything like that, otherwise I'll stop the recording and we can go on from there.
I've got a quick topic.
Sure.
We've got a couple of websites where we're doing multiple data source calls on custom modules, and we've noticed that the admin screen is really, like, the form is really slow to load, and the updates across all of the related objects are quite slow to happen. And the only way that I've been able to sort out to get it to happen to expectation is to force a rebuild of the index. That may or may not be technically true, but coincidentally true. When I force a rebuild of the index, all of the associations start to pop to life. And I know that they're kind of holding sort of optimization items until they finish the e-commerce. I get all of that. But has anybody had problems where they've got custom module records with data source attachments to other custom modules, which themselves have data source attachments to other custom modules? And really the issue is when I update the one and they're supposed to kind of cascade across for display, I'm having a long wait to have it confirmed and to have it actually display to expectation. Any thoughts, anyone?
I think we haven't had that complicated data source relationships on our sites, but only simple ones. Haven't had any problems yet. But if you like, Scott, I can try it out and see how it works on our EU server and come back to you. Maybe it's
that's an interesting
something server. I mean, we can always check it's like a server related thing or whatever. So because you're in Canada, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so I would try it for us here in the EU because we have like projects with data source things, especially the real estate project. I can just simulate that. Give me time tomorrow evening and I'll try it out, come back to you.
Shall I give you a little sense of what it is that I'm up against?
That would be great, yeah.
Yeah, I'll get a couple of screens up here. It'll just take a second. There are many relationships here. Now, can I share a screen? I bet you I can, hey?
The green button.
This works. Let me know when you can see something there. Can you see our backstage screen? Yeah, okay. All right, so in the long and short is this is our portfolio of goodies. And I'll just show you both the front side while that's loading. The performance is terrible, first of all. On the back side, I'll open up a record here to show you the relationships. So on the front side, these are all portfolio items. That's a custom module. They are related to the client org, which is a custom module. There are associations to sectors and services, which themselves are custom modules and are used as keys to sort. Like you can look at our portfolio by services, and then it'll call all the things that are tagged. All of this stuff is just related custom modules. Am I making sense so far?
Yeah.
But our custom module record here, what happens is, so here we are in the custom properties. We've got data source calls to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the system properties. We're using the tags engine here. So we're calling potentially five different related custom modules to glue everything together. And what happens is when this screen loads, if you watch the performance of where the data source fields come, maybe you've experienced this, I'm unsure. Oh, six custom modules. Okay, so I'm just going to refresh this. And what will happen is the bits and pieces will trickle in. I don't get a full form. I get parts of a form. and then like here they come. You see how it's refreshing on its own, and then it's essentially going and calling the related custom modules, building those lists. Each of those modules might have 50 or 100 items in them, which might be the problem here. But anyways, that's what I'm talking about. That kind of slow performance. And then if one of us happens to make an adjustment to a form while it's still doing those loads, we're experiencing inconsistent saves, which kind of makes sense to me. So it's almost like we have to wait, and then we can make our changes and do our saves. And then once we do our saves, essentially the whole front end of the website gets rebuilt, right? So like, all the service screens get updated with service screen items that are related to that. All the sector screens get updated, with the same sort of items. I keep using this. I keep using this animation thing because these are the ones that are fresh in my mind this morning. At any rate, so that's the challenge that I'm facing. Any comments there? I guess there's 6 data source fields. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Any thoughts?
I think, Scott, what I see here and the problems you have is basically an amplified, no pun intended,
Yeah.
an amplified version of what we had occasionally on our sites. Like that, like just a little example, we were working on a detail layout. We needed to put in a component. We were triggering the components slide in, and it took like 1 or 2 seconds for the custom module option to appear. First I was thinking, okay, where are the custom modules? And then it came up, so there was a little delay. Apparently, the Triple team is on that kind of problems. What I heard is that there's some caching issues involved, and it's certainly something they will address when because I think it's a performance issue at the end of the day. And what I heard from talking with Alex is that they're going to address this after they have finished e-commerce, like these kind of performance related. And what he told me was quite reassuring. So we saw these kind of problems on other parts, not that heavy because we don't have a heavy loaded page like you have here. It's pretty much lots of things on there.
Yeah.
But I think if I rebuild this the way you do it, I would might experience the same problems here.
I don't have those. So I've got one huge site it's got 110 web apps on it, right? And I've been waiting for the performance to sort of spring to action. And so what I kind of felt like doing was kind of stress testing with my own website. And that's how I built this one. I'm not sure I would build it exactly the same way a second time, but it's very similar to what I have on my One Health Sector site. And there's 10,000 objects in that site. But it's on VC, they must have gotten their little caching trick figured out because we don't experience those kinds of load problems on the admin screen nor on the foreground. But I think you're right to identify when I save a portfolio item there, as in per my example, I'm actually modifying displays across the entire site. Like I'm modifying dozens of displays with a save there. So it does tax the system. Sounds like you experienced that early on with something else, and I've also had a performance discussion with Alex, but not against this very specific use case.
I think it's all related. I think it's all related.
Yeah,
and I think it's solvable. So BC has come a long way. They had time to optimize their code.
Yeah. After
they have included, especially after they stopped developing the system and improving the modules and everything. So they could work on that. But I think we're going to see some improvement on infrastructure quite soon.
Yeah, encouraging.
Right. Well, I'll stop the recording then, and we'll carry on chatting.